Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. And if you're joining for the first time, this is part of our industry series for which we meet every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We pick one vendor or the solution we review independently. And for today, we have Bloomreach. This is going to be a similar solution as we have reviewed a couple of them in the past. So again, we are going to have a lot of fun discussing that. Before we do that, we are going to start with everybody's intros. I am going to start with my quick intro. Sam Gupta, principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent ERP CRM digital transformation consulting as well as buy-side advisory firm. On that note, Andy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Of course I would. And I'd like to thank you so much for allowing me to participate, Sam.
Anytime.
Excuse me. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious my skill set or my acumen is very targeted at ERPs for manufacturers, specifically small to mid-size manufacturers. I've been doing that all my life, but it's always refreshing to learn about ancillary type products like we review every week on these podcasts. And I know that if I'm learning stuff, I know the audience is learning too. So thank you so much. And bless you, Sam.
Of course, anytime, Andy. And I would not be totally shocked if these guys started calling them ERP as well, because everybody's calling them.
Of course. But then you see, we'll come up with ERP2, and then we'll have some other acronym that Gartner Group will invent, because they want to get paid for you, for them to teach you what that new acronym means.
Yep, I agree. Okay, so Andy, good. Shrestha, do you want to go next?
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Hi, everyone. My name is Shrestha Dash, and I'm part of the marketing team at Elevate IQ. Looking forward to learn a lot about Bloomreach today.
Okay, amazing, Shrestha and Andy. I don't know whether you have noticed this or not. Today, I am feeling two Red Bulls in Shrestha's voice, because last time you made a comment that she did not have enough energy. So now, hopefully, you can.
Well, I see the smile on Shrestha's face right now, and that makes me feel so good. If I had any impact at causing a beautiful young lady to smile, I have done my job.
Andy is very kind, just always, as you know. He's always trying to make people happy, and he's going to have a lot of jokes today throughout our session. On that note, during the session, if you're in the audience, if you have any sort of stories, comments, jokes, we always like to create this three-way conversation. So make sure you guys keep posting. We would be reviewing them throughout the show. On that note, guys, I'm going to start with the quick briefing of Bloomreach. And I'll tell you my reasoning, generally how we sequence these solutions. I mean, we want to make sure that we are sort of reviewing all of the competitors together, and we are being equally fair with very similar, methodology that we follow for every single solution out there.
We tend to sequence our reviews according to industry types or product types, and this is like the 10th one in a row, like this one.
Exactly. Categories is probably the right term.
Category, sure. Okay.
Exactly. So they are bucketed under categories. Sometimes they might be, slightly farther away, but we try to sequence them together as much as possible. And the reason why this is sequenced, even though some people might feel that there is no real similarity, and I don't know, Braze and Bloomreach, if they are going to like whether they are comparable or not, we will find out, I guess. I mean, once they have reviewed these sessions. But users are going to have their own versions and stories, how they see things. So we have Reddit threads and reviews where people have compared these two platforms, and there are reasons for that. So that's why they are sort of together. I don't know whether they like to compare themselves or not, because in my mind they are completely different platforms.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's really, really great from our last presentation is, or two presentations ago, we now know what the word braze actually means.
Exactly, we do.
It's an adjective.
Yes.
In the fabrication industry.
Yes. Great point, Andy. So I'm going to go back to our session, and here one of the things that we have done recently is we are always reviewing different content sources where we found this information. Our first preference always is going to be financial statements because that's where people are going to be slightly more accountable compared to the marketing hype, and we try to read between the lines in marketing hype. So for Bloomreach, we don't necessarily have the financial statements just because they are not public company. So what we are going to have is the historical news stories. So we are going to going back to their evolution, and we are trying to figure out, okay, where they were when they started and what all they have changed, throughout their existence, I guess. And then we are also going to have, product design analysis. We always review these sources as well, product updates, technical documents, and then finally some of the Reddit threads in terms of what users are feeling, and we are going to review that as well. So these are some of the content sources that we have utilized in this particular review. Now, when you look at Bloomreach has many different layers. It's almost like a suite, but a very, 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 very different suite. They have many different layers, as part of that suite, as with any suites, whether you talk about the ERP, CRM, supply chain, or the CRM sides of suites. So this is going to be slightly different version of suite. In this particular case, they are bundling CMS, and I don't know, Andy, Shrestha, whether you understand the term CMS. This is going to be content management system. Okay, so so CMS is how your websites are built in general. So the basic form of CMS is going to be WordPress. For example, Andy, I think you guys use Zoho. They sort of have CMS, but it's not a
little bit, yeah.
But there are super big CMSs as well, depending upon the complexity and size of your website. So these guys are primarily CMS. That was their history, and we are going to go back to their history as well, how they have started. But then they are also bucketed under this whole digital experience platform, which is called DXP, which is very different. So the whole idea of DXP and some other DXP platforms in the market are probably going to be Optimizely. And I don't know whether you are familiar with them, but they have very, very, very similar positioning suite as your Bloomreach. They are going to be positioned for slightly more industrial B2B centric platforms. So Andy, in your space, you are going to find them a lot more. But this is primarily for retail. Even though these guys are going to have things such as your marketing automation as part of their suite, but the platform is targeted for retail e-commerce centered verticals, because some of the feature sets and the functionality that they have are not going to be relevant for the other industries. For example, when you talk about search and merge, and I don't know whether you guys have heard this term. This is very well prevalent in the e-commerce retail centric spaces. Merge is going to be for merchandising, and the search is going to be the external search engine when you don't want to utilize from your CMS. But in this case, you are also getting the CMS. So CMS plus search, but search could be a platform in itself. There are going to be a lot of different search platforms in the market. Best of breed, for example, Algolia, I believe, is one of them. They are best of breed search. A lot of companies use them because search actually drives revenue for e-commerce, especially if you're going to be super heavy in the e-commerce space. Now, there could be a lot of different ways of looking at this platform. You are going to find a lot of different POS providers, and those POS providers are going to be super thick as well. Sometimes they contain your loyalty merchandising, especially if it is going to be more from the whole store experience perspective as opposed to e-commerce. They might not be as strong in e-commerce, and these guys are primarily e-commerce. I don't know whether they get into the whole POS retail or not, but these guys are sort of pure play e-commerce. So that's where I guess the real challenge is in terms of who does what and who is going to provide what capabilities in the architecture. And sometimes there is going to be substantial overlap. But overall, from the category comparison perspective, the best comparable for these guys are probably going to be something like Optimizely Episerver is one category, and then Team Commerce is going to be another one. They have very similar layer. They are probably not going to have search because they are not as big as at e-commerce. They are primarily the POS centric players. So those technologies are going to be fairly comparable, I would say, with this. But when you compare with search, you are comparing probably with Algolia. From the merge perspective, you are comparing it with every single supply chain platform that we have reviewed so far. For example, you are looking at Manhattans of the world or Blue Yonders of the world. They generally contain the whole merchandising piece as well, because the planning in those spaces and the architecture lives within your supply chain platform as opposed to living inside a commerce layer. So again, I think it gets very tricky when you combine all of these platforms, as part of one architecture and trying to figure out, okay, what you really want to do. So their background is going to be, we are going to review their stories, but again, they merged two different platforms. One is CMS, and another one is CDP. And again, when you look at Braze, which was the last review that we had done, they were more of the CDP plus marketing automation. So these guys also have the marketing automation function as part of their suite, but that is just one bucket. They are not pure play marketing automation. Yes, they have CDP, but that CDP is going to be only relevant for retail, e-commerce centric verticals. It's probably not going to be applicable for everything else. So again, it's a very niche platform. I don't think it's a fair comparison between this and Braze. Then competing technologies, I think these guys are sort of all over the place, to be completely honest. Overall, in terms of their suite construction, in some industries that might make sense, but in general, it's a very, 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 very different architecture, because you are combining sort of marketing automation with your CMS layer. That could be tricky, especially if you're going to have a lot of different channels. And if these guys are not going to cover every single channel, then what are you going to do? So I don't know if this is the best strategy, I would say, overall from the suite construction perspective. But for some companies, if they care only for this much, then this might be a great value add, because they are getting everything as part of the suite, which is obviously going to be pre-integrated to some extent, I guess. So competing technologies, CDP marketing automation, multi-channel, these are different categories that we have reviewed. Klaviyo is probably going to be one of them. They are slightly similar to what Bloomreach is trying to do. Braze is very different. They were primarily in that whole real-time aspect of the things, which is very different space, even though Bloomreach is trying to develop that as well. But again, they are not going to be as deep in capabilities. Braze is working with a very large media companies. I don't think Bloomreach is probably going to be the right fit for them, because they are offering a lot more, which is probably not relevant for them at all. And then MoEngage is a very different platform. Again, you get into the whole telco world. I don't know why you would use Bloomreach for that. When you get into the search category, that's a very, very, very different category, and much is even different. Okay, so that's where you're going to find things such as your Algolia as well as Team Commerce. I would feel that Team Commerce is a much closer competitor to these guys as opposed to everybody else, in my mind, but they might not like that. And then you also have the Kibo Commerce, and Kibo Commerce is I would say that is primarily an OMS. That's their core positioning. These guys, I don't know if they have the real OMS offering. So probably Kibo Commerce is going to be closer to this as well, because Kibo Commerce also had a lot of these things. For example, merch, they had basic function, I don't know if they still have that suite as part of their portfolio. They had consolidated a lot of different offerings around the market, but they ended up spinning off some of them because maybe customers were using best of breed offerings and they never cared for the merged offering that was there with your Kibo Commerce. So again, it's very interesting how these suites are constructed, because for the most part, the only reason why these companies are trying to combine all of these capabilities is because they are trying to increase their revenue, but that does not always work. So then they are going to move them out of their suite, and then you are probably going to have challenges in your architecture. So always pay attention to where a specific capability is going to logically belong, and that logical aspect of the architecture and the categories, the way market is organized, is probably really critical, because if they are not aligning with the market, then they are going to have challenges. Number one, in selling. Number two, supporting. And if they don't sell, they are most likely not going to have R&D to be able to support their offerings, and customers are probably not going to buy that either. Industries, I guess you are going to find them in retail and B2C. I don't see them, in any other industries. There might be cases where you might see them if somebody is utilizing only one module, but that's an outlier in my mind, as opposed to a real example of their case study. I'll keep going here if you guys don't have any comments. So some comments here. Again, these are the historical stories. So we are going back in time. So here they are saying Bloomreach has experienced significant revenue and market growth in commerce since launching in 2009. So they were launched in 2009, which is obviously they have been in the market for a very long time. But the current branding and marketing that they have is very fresh and new. I think initially they sort of didn't know what they were doing, but I think they have come a long way overall from their product perspective. They are saying working with more than 150 of the top US and UK commerce companies, including Neiman Marcus and what is that? Nordstrom? Nordstrom, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And Home Base. Yeah. So again, these are like Fortune 500 logos. No explanation required there. But obviously, I mean, this is going to be a very enterprise platform. It's very rare that you'll find them in the mid market. Then they are saying they have some comment for Hippo. And Hippo is the CMS that they sort of had acquired. Not acquired, I guess merged is probably the right term. But that was the CMS side of things. They are saying also has experienced significant growth in recent years, currently working with more than 170 customers in 13 countries. Can you believe this? And again, 170 customers is probably very small, but they probably had very enterprise customers, especially if you talk about 13 countries, sorry, not industries. Then they are saying at a time when enterprises are searching for innovative Java-based options. Now, if you talk about Java in 2024, you are probably going to be called out legacy. So I don't know if they have completely re-architected their platform, but obviously at that time in 2009, they were very legacy. There was no React, in 2009. But I think they have come a long way overall in terms of their capabilities. So I don't know if they still have some of the legacy, layers underneath their platform, but that's how they started. They are saying Hippo was recently named a visionary in the 2016. So this story is obviously not from 2009. It is probably from 2015, 2016. Gartner Magic Quadrant for web content management. Web content management is probably the right category for these guys, especially for the CMS side of things. Hippo is a proven enterprise class CMS working with large organizations like UK's National Health Service and REI. REI is a big retail brand in the UK. And then Hippo's strong presence in Europe and Bloomreach, strong presence in the US provide complementary geographic footprints. Okay, there's not much there. So now this is the merge, and I would say they are saying combination of Bloomreach's world-class reach and personalization technology with Hippo's content management solution will allow companies across industries to create the most modern digital customer experiences. And I don't know who was ahead in this game, whether Optimize the Episerver was ahead or these guys were ahead, but this was a very similar play. Episerver acquired a company. I don't know whether I think it was acquisition. They acquired a company called Optimizely, which was more into personalization. They were more into the experience space, but they ended up renaming it to Optimizely because Optimizely had far more weight in terms of their branding, coolness, factor. So they ended up renaming them. But it is a very similar play. These guys did this as well, but they were mainly for B2B industrial centric verticals, and these guys were for retail e-commerce centric verticals. But very, very, very similar play. Okay, I'm gonna continue here unless you guys have any comments. So now they are positioning themselves as Bloomreach is a machine learning, big data technology company that delivers a more relevant digital experience using data from more than 75 million unique customers and the applications built on its personalization platform. Now that's where I guess the wires are going to be a little crossed. I don't think you are machine learning and big data technology company. You might be using this technology to enable your personalization platform, but you are primarily either the web content management or the personalization platform. That's your core positioning. So I don't agree with this positioning. Everybody is a big data company these days. That does not mean anything. Now they are saying Bloomreach's core technology, the web relevance engine, WRE, understands content and users, matching this understanding with demand and intent data from across the web. And then they are saying Bloomreach's commerce products adopt your content to make it personal. Again, this is a very personalization engine. You are simply swapping out some of the personalization layer at the user level. This we have seen in most personalization platform. So I don't see anything new there. Relevant for individual users. And this is the same commentary that we had even with SAP Engine as well. Again, Bloomreach is far better, I would say. Overall, from the technology perspective, it's a newer technology for the personalization use cases. So it's not fair to compare them with the legacy vendors. But again, I mean, they're using the machine learning big data, and they are primarily the personalization and web content management platform. Bloomreach Compass, surfaces actionable product performance and recommendations that maximize something. What is that? We don't have that. Investment firms, Bain, capital ventures, battery ventures, or obviously these are big ones. Salesforce ventures as well. Lightspeed venture. Again, big names out there, and they have a lot of valuation overall from their number one funding, and number two from the product perspective as well. Okay, so some more comments here. So they are saying platforms powering their digital presence, a backend or commerce platform, an experience platform powering personalization, and a marketing platform handling campaign execution. The Hippo acquisition allows Bloomreach to provide businesses with the experience platform layer where data and algorithms determine each visitor's intent and return the most relevant experience. Again, that's going to be the intent of the personalization platform out there. They are talking about open architecture, not too sure, because one time you are talking about Java, the second time you are talking about open architecture. They are saying it easily plugs into other platforms, which is going to be positioning of the majority of the Mark platforms, and I think these guys are part of that as well. So again, there's not much there in that. I'll keep moving here. Now, if we look at our peers, so Gartner has ranked them as part of the digital experience platform, and I think this is the right positioning. This is coming from 2024, and in this you have Adobe. They do have a lot of layers of web content management platform. Obviously, the Magento is going to be part of that as well, and then they have the personalization layer on top of that. But the closer competitor are going to be Optimizely, which is nothing but your Episerver product. So this is the closest competitor, Adobe and Optimizely, in my mind. And then you have the, what is that, Acquia. They are going to be, their competitors as well. I don't think we have reviewed them. Sitecore has very, similar layers, I would say. And then you have Bloomreach. And then you have some of the legacy platform as well. For example, you have Liferay here. I don't think we have reviewed them. Magnolia is very old. You have Tenchico, which is the enterprise-centric platform. SCL, has IPM Commerce. So obviously, a lot of them are relevant, but again, these are more CMS and digital experience platforms, not necessarily the marketing automation side of things. So this is the right positioning for them. Then we have one more. This is the story coming from 2017. So this is the web content management platform from Gartner. And they are talking about launched a strategic global partnership with Elastic Path Software Incorporation, a visionary in the 2017 Gartner Digital Commerce Magic Quadrant. So just to be clear, this platform is not necessarily for digital commerce. And I don't know where you sort of draw the line, I would say. So this is going to be a CMS. And I don't know if the companies that are going to use a real commerce platform, I don't know if they are also going to use CMS as well. So they will be using Bloomreach primarily for the personalization layer. But if they are very content heavy, sometimes they might use Bloomreach for that. So depending upon the use case, so sometimes it could be very confusing that why do you have the partnership between a commerce platform and the content management platform? But again, depending upon the industry, they both could live together, and that's why they are signing the partnership. Then we have one more story here, 2018. They are saying, announced that its experience and personalization solution is now available on the SAP App Center. So obviously they are working in the SAP Hybris portfolio, and their role is going to be slightly more personalization engine if companies prefer for that best of breed experience. And that's why SAP is going to be the commerce. So this is a very similar play as your Elastic Path. This is going to be very similar. So here, the only difference is this is SAP's solution, which is SAP Hybris. Some more comments here. They are saying with multi-team support, multiple development teams can easily work simultaneously. And again, this is going to be for very large teams when you are going to have, maybe thousands of developers, as part of your website team, CMS team. If you go to websites as complex as, I don't know, maybe Verizon, or if you go to AT&T, or maybe some of the airline companies, they are going to have those thick websites. Sometimes that is all custom designed because the standard out-of-the-box functionality is probably not going to work for them, and that's why they are going to have very, very, very large teams for the CMS experience. So that's why this whole structure is going to be relevant for them. So that's why they are saying that they have multi-team support and multiple development team, that can be handled inside a single CMS. And generally, when you look at the smaller CMS solutions, for example, WordPress, etc., you will never be able to develop the same websites. You are not going to have, let's say, 1,000 people working on the website on WordPress. So that's where this is very enterprise-grade platform. They're saying each site can be worked on independently. Content and configuration can still be shared because the platform, Bloomreach, and web app, customer code, so they are saying web app is going to be their app. The customer code and websites are now separated from each other. As a result, developers can work faster together, and there will be less downtime for marketers while changes are made. So again, enterprises are going to have very different problems from the CMS perspective, and this is a very enterprise-grade platform. They are saying Bloomreach is opening up its UI for integration with third-party services or applications like auditing, analytics, and site optimization. So again, different problems at the enterprise level, and they have, they are sort of signing these, partnerships to allow for all of those tools that are going to be required, in those spaces. I'll keep going here. Okay, so the story is coming from 2019. And here I don't know if there is any difference. So this is coming from 2020. This quadrant is slightly different. So you are probably going to find different players. So in 2020, Episerver was not optimizedly, so it was slightly behind. Going back to the previous slide, here you had optimizedly much further ahead. In 2024, in 2020, they were slightly behind. LifeRay was further ahead, but they went further down, I guess, in 2024, as you can see. So just because that became sort of legacy, and Gartner is sort of trying to catch up with all of these platforms. So in 2020, you had Adobe, Sitecode was really big. This is also a very legacy platform, Acquia. And then you have LifeRay and Episerver. Bloomreach was very, very, very behind. In 2020, we also have OpenText, which is slightly strange. I don't know if they are digital experience. I mean, they are more of the enterprise content management. They are not necessarily web content management, but OpenText always sort of ranks as the digital experience platform as well as the web content management platform as well. Sometimes that could be confusing because of the criteria that they might be using underneath. There is nothing wrong with the quadrant as such. It's just the way we just don't have those variables, so it's very hard to read. So here, this story is coming from 2019. So this is, again, BigCommerce, which is sort of strange because BigCommerce is a very mid-market player. And you are signing partnership with the enterprise players, but you are also signing with the mid-market players. In this space, it might be okay because in general, you are not going to have the same challenges that you are going to see in the ERP spaces from the integration perspective. The integration in general is easier because you don't have the same data dependencies that you are going to have with the ERP-like systems or the transactional systems. That's why sometimes these systems could work in the enterprise as well as the mid-market. But then again, you are going to pay a lot more. Number two, you are going to have a lot of layers. For example, why do you want functionality for multiple teams? You would not care for that. If you're a mid-market player, you are not going to have multiple teams for the next 10 years. So you are going to pay unnecessarily, even though obviously every single vendor in the market, they are trying to claim that they can serve every single market out there.
But isn't it every company though, Sam?
Exactly. That's where the problem is. But this is a very enterprise platform. If you read between the lines, you will be able to find what is their sweet spot. In this particular case, obviously enterprise is their sweet spot. 90% of the stories that we are seeing is all enterprise. The product design is enterprise. I don't know why they are going for mid-market. Obviously, BigCommerce is trying to attack the enterprise players as well, but they're not going to have as many. Then the story is coming from 2020. Here they are saying Bloomreach, a leading digital customer and commerce experience software provider today, announced this is again the same digital experience story. So they have been rated for some time. Then we have one more story here. This is the feature story. So here they are saying they have announced a new feature called Relevance by Segment feature for its digital experience platform. And they keep referencing that Bloomreach BRX, which is their experience platform, and Relevance by Segment is a new capability of the BRX platform, which enables Bloomreach customers to automatically optimize search and category product rankings as well as recommendations based on the preferences of all of the customers with a specific segment. So again, that's a very deep capability, I would say, from the recommendation as well as from the product ranking perspective. And they are very deep in that whole e-commerce, from the search and category product ranking perspective. Then they have some more comments here. So they are saying content search, a new add-on for the search module of the Bloomreach experience platform. The new content search feature applies the intelligent ranking capabilities found in product search to BRX for a unified search experience and integrated commerce experience. And the whole search experience gets very, very, very deep as well. And search is what drives the conversion in the e-commerce space. That's why these guys are really after the whole search capabilities. How you are searching, filtering, how you are designing your algorithm, how you are pinning specific product types that you want to show to a specific customer, and each customer is going to have different preferences. So again, these guys are trying to align with that, with this capability. I'll keep going here unless you guys have any other comments. Here, this is a story. They are saying Bloomreach, the leader in commerce experience and a spotlight. I think this is already sort of done, I guess. So I don't know if this is a new story. I don't know. I'm not seeing any details here. New details. I'll keep moving. So here they are saying the new features, and these are some newer features that they had announced in the past. So they are saying newest features in the BRX recommendation module enable businesses to recommend products where demand is rising the fastest. So they are trying to align with the demand, and the demand is going to be based on the inquiries that they are getting. If they are going to be either going to be using their own CMS or the commerce platform that they are partnering with, as well as those that are already popular and trending on the site. So they are able to read all of that data and provide the recommendation based on that. Then they are saying personalize and understand customer shopping intent by using search and customer browse behavior in real time, enabling businesses to quickly optimize and product placements automatically re-ranked to improve conversions and revenue. Again, a lot of capabilities recently related to their recommendation engine, which is their bread and butter for the most part. And then they have the merchandise recommendations results to improve the commerce experience while also boosting sales and margins. And again, this merchandising experience is not going to be the store experience that you are going to find with the supply chain platforms or some of the POS platforms if they are going to have those merchandising capabilities as part of their platform. Here, this is primarily done from the web perspective. The insights, the data points, the algorithm that you are going to need for web is going to be very, very, very different. Then they are talking about, in 2021 is where they had acquired this Exponia, I guess, is the company that is the leading customer data and experience platform. That's where they got the marketing automation and Braze or Klaviyo like capabilities, and that's why they are being compared with that. And they are saying an investment of $150 million from 6th Street Growth. So that's where they got this investment. And they are saying Exponia's best-in-class customer data platform and marketing automation will create the first ever truly integrated product and customer data platform. And then they also have a comment saying optimize powerful commerce experiences and accelerate revenue growth for both B2C and B2B brands. Again, the key takeaway from this story is going to be that Exponia is where they got the customer data and experience capabilities, and that's how they have the marketing automation engine, and that is going to be compared with your Klaviyo world. I'll keep moving here. Some more stories. This is also from 2021, and they are talking about the new headless content module, which was very hot in 2021. I don't know how hot that is at this point of time in 2024 after the AI. And they are talking about Bloomreach content. So again, content is going to be a very different capability. There are many different content platforms in the market as well. They specialize in the content side of things. So they are saying they have launched this, and they are saying Bloomreach content is built for commerce, enabling marketers and merchandisers to work as one to build immersive commerce, e-commerce experiences that enhance the customer journey and drive business. Then one more story in 2021, they are saying Bloomreach, the leader in commerce experience today, announced the Bloomreach engagement is another, sort of pillar that they have as part of their suite. And they are talking about the company's customer data. And this is your Exponia capability that they have. And now they have sort of merged that inside the Bloomreach portfolio, and they are calling it Bloomreach engagement, which is what they are calling omni-channel marketing automation and experience platforms. Again, I don't think that is comparable with Braze, but obviously they are going to have some omni-channel marketing capabilities, at least for the e-commerce as well as the retailers. They are saying unifying data from all customer touchpoints and providing marketers with a complete tool set to build end-to-end. Again, when we look at Braze has a lot more touch points, especially if you talk about real-time interaction, you talk about the real-time media interaction. Those were very unique capabilities inside Braze. But again, that is designed for a very different purpose. They are going to have capabilities, but this is probably going to be similar to Klaviyo in my mind. Then they are talking about the whole Google Cloud Marketplace, and they are there as well. But keep in mind, the whole Bloomreach platform is not available through your Google Cloud Marketplace. The only thing that they have offered is slightly more data-centric offering. And we saw that with Braze was integrating with a lot of different data platforms as well. And that's a play that these guys have as well. So here they are reading Google Cloud Marketplace offers integrated solutions vetted by Google Cloud, allowing businesses to scale procurement via online discovery. So they are trying to utilize that channel, purchasing and fulfillment of enterprise-grade cloud solutions. So the inclusion of Bloomreach engagement. So the only thing that they have included is the Bloomreach engagement, which is the CDP platform, and not the entire portfolio of Bloomreach is available through Google Cloud Marketplace, which makes sense. This is the right alignment. I don't have anything else from the story, but they have tight alignment there, and Google Cloud also have very strong alignment with retailers. Retailers and e-commerce players, they use Google Cloud a lot, so this is a very good alignment. Now we have some more comments here. So 2021, they are saying they have announced it has launched automated query filtering, AQF, a product feature within its AI-powered search and merchandising module. They are talking about Bloomreach Discovery. They are saying in an e-commerce site's typical product search, results are often imprecise. That is true. Search is a big problem. So obviously, they have invested a lot, and they are really good in that capability by design in order to give customers the opportunity to explore products they would not otherwise see. When a merchandising team needs to take a different approach and apply precision for specific business goals, they can now use AQF. Some more comments related to AQF. They are saying helps businesses cut through noisy search results that are generated when customers search for products with specific attributes such as color, size, and brand. Again, very much relevant for retailers. It allows merchandiser to filter products on the results page based on these attributes, delivering more precise search results and shortening the time it takes for shoppers to find the products they want. Some more comments related to AQF, which is the feature. A retail company could ensure searches for a red dress, for example, only results in red dresses, and you'll be surprised. I mean, on some of the legacy platforms, when you are going to type red dress, you are probably going to find, everything that is going to be there in the rainbow, I guess, except red. That's how bad it is. So obviously, this is a huge problem. Without the shopper needing to pick red from the additional selection of filters, that is right. The legacy search platforms were really bad. They have some more examples related to automotive, but again, these are very relevant, search problems. Here, this is the quadrant coming from, Forrester, and Forrester has ranked them as part of your cross-channel campaign management platform, which is going to be very similar to your Braces of the world, More Engage of the world, and that's why you are going to find those platforms here. You are not going to find platforms like Optimizely. Adobe may be there. I don't know if Adobe is here. I don't think it is going to be there because this is a very different market. So here, Bloomreach is really ahead. Can you believe this? Which, in my mind, I think Braze should be ahead. And I don't know if the size of the dots means something. I think they do. I think they are.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because obviously
it's right here, Andy. Market presence.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Bigger means market share.
Yes, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so Bloomreach does not have as much market share, but they might be ahead in terms of the capability. The capability based on the rankings that they might be using. In terms of the capabilities, it might be strong. In terms of the check boxes that they are able to check, but they don't necessarily have as much market share. Yeah, it's very clear. Braze is far stronger in my mind. Okay, I'll keep moving here. I think we can keep debating these quadrants. They are always very interesting because nobody knows how to read them. Okay, so here 2022. So here they are talking about world's #1 commerce experience. Today announced an investment of $175 million, which is big. Obviously, big story there. I'll keep moving here. Contextual personalization and banners and pop-ups, and that's where I guess you are going to find in a lot of different personalization engines. Then they have some alignment with your Salesforce Commerce Cloud as well. So they are aligned with pretty much every single commerce platform out there. This is the right alignment. Salesforce Commerce is positioned for slightly more enterprise players. So I don't see any problems there. Then they are talking about real-time page personalization. In real time, a lot of people are going to argue that this is probably real time. Braze is not real time, but the real time that they are trying to sell is very different from this real time. Okay, guys. So when you have real time from the context of personalization, it's very different than what you get from the interaction perspective. So Bloomreach is probably going to be real time from the page personalization perspective. They might not be as real time from the interaction perspective. So again, there are always going to be layers with these things, and you need to figure out how to read this. But again, these guys have very deep capabilities from the personalization perspective. Then they have multi-language semantic search, and that could be a very interesting capability as well. The legacy search engines, they didn't really have this. So it's almost like they are sort of packaging Google inside Bloomreach. And then you have the algorithm control for merchandiser. Again, not much there, so I'm probably going to skip that. Then you have product recommendation for email. So in this particular case, your recommendations are going to be consistent across your channels. So for example, let's say you have your commerce channel as well as CMS channel. So your commerce, CMS plus your email. And then if you're doing mobile and social as well, then you are probably going to have those recommendations. Now, going back to your Klaviyo had a lot more capabilities aligned to reviews. I didn't see reviews with these guys. They are doing recommendation. So the capabilities are slightly deeper, different. Everybody has different capabilities. They also have, catalog management as well as the external preview. Again, very deep capabilities. These are very enterprise-grade capabilities to be able to find, okay, what's happening on the external site, before you sort of implement. So that's going to be a preview as well of any widget that you are trying to sort of embed from the personalization perspective. And then you have the catalog management as well, which is going to be more from the merchandising perspective. So again, very, very, very deep features. Some more comments here, but I don't think I'm probably gonna skip this one quickly unless there's something meaningful that I want to touch. Yeah, I don't see. I'm gonna get to the other slides. They are slightly better. So I'll come here. This is going to be the product design. So those were the stories. And from the product design perspective, if you look at this is going to come across as very CDP-centric platform. Every single platform looks exactly same. Can you believe this? Okay, even this one is, I don't know if you have never sort of analyzed these platforms. And if I ask you, okay, compare this with your Microsoft Customer Insights or with Klaviyo or with Braze, I can almost guarantee that you will not be able to tell the difference. That's how similar these platforms are, but they all are uniquely different. So here they have, interesting options such as, and again, these differences are going to be from the technology perspective, where they are getting data, what kind of nature of that data is going to be, what data can do, and based on that, those differences are going to be. So in this particular case, they are definitely not using real-time streaming technology that your Braze was using. In this particular case, the technology is very, very, very different where they are getting this data from. So this is campaigns analysis and initiatives. Very interesting way of framing that, but they are very similar to any other platforms that you are going to find in the CDP or marketing automation category. And then they have some of the customer master attributes, that you're going to find. They are going to be primarily relevant to e-com. So other spaces, this is probably not going to be as relevant. So if you're e-com retail, this is a great product. Other industries, not too sure. KPI is very similar to most e-com centric platform. If you notice, again, very, very flavored and tailored for e-com centric verticals. This is going to be a customer journey, and again, the journey builder is going to be very similar as well. So here the events type that you're going to find are going to be browser push, mobile push, SMS, ad audiences, webhook. In my mind, Braze had a lot more because they were doing a real media play. This platform is not doing that, and that's where the real-time interaction is going to be. Even though some people might argue that this is not, this is probably real time or that is real time. I mean, those arguments are always going to be there, but the real time aspect of this platform is very different from the real time aspect of your Braze. The variants, they have variants as well. And variants are going to be when you are doing some sort of a multivariate testing or A/B testing in terms of what products you want to position or what kind of content log that you want to position. These variants are from that perspective, and you can build that as part of the journey. Again, very different functionality, and this is going to be more of the DXP in my mind than anything else. Okay, I'll keep moving here. This is the capability announcement that they have recently announced. And they are using Twilio as well. I think they have some different ways of integrating their SMS, but the primary provider in my mind is probably going to be Twilio. And they have also announced the RCS capability, which is going to be slightly more real-time interactive experience. The way we said that's this announcement, but I don't think they are as deep with Braze at this point of time. Some more comments here, and I think the whole, and this is coming from their technical documentation. This is going to be the way their any customers can manage their brands. So if the brands are going to have different content strategy, the teams are completely different, and they want to promote their content as well as the website features without impacting the other brand, that's where they are going to have real enterprise features that the other platforms are probably not going to have, and that's their real strength overall from the platform perspective. And they are trying to describe, okay, how your accounts are going to be mapped, what kind of limitations are going to be. So we will not be able to touch on all of those because this is a short session, but this is where you can find a lot of details that you are probably going to be needing, because this all is going to have impact in your experience as well as on your licensing. So, again, if you're reading something that you're going to get all of this, that might not be included as part of your license. So you might need to dig further.
Do you know how much the price point of this product is in comparison to, say, Braze?
Both of them are going to be substantially expensive.
Very expensive.
Very expensive. Yeah.
So they're direct competitors.
I would not say they are direct competitors. We have some of the Reddit threads, and some people have commented that Bloomreach, the marketing automation feature, is probably going to be cheaper with Bloomreach because that's not their bread and butter and it's not as rich. So if you're using Braze only for the marketing automation CDP, that's probably going to be prohibitively expensive, because that's what they are doing. Here, this is primarily a DXP platform, but they are giving a little bit of marketing automation as well. So it's probably not a fair comparison, but if you utilize everything from Bloomreach perspective, then the pricing is going to be very similar. Yeah. So this is their entire architecture. Obviously, they have many different, layers. They are saying they can ingest data from CRM, website, mobile app, etc., offline, POS, product data that everybody's doing. Everybody wants every single data out there, and they want to keep in their system so they can tell you how good they are. But again, you need to figure out your own architecture in terms of where those arrows are going to be. Otherwise, you could have substantial challenges, I would say. And obviously, every single vendor in the market, they are charging based on those data layers. So, and that's why they are really incentivized to tell you that, you need to put a lot more data inside their platform. So this is, one of the reviews that I really wanted to touch. So this is coming from 7 months ago. So they are saying we use Braze at my company. This is roughly what, $150 to $250 million in revenue, which is, in my mind, it's slightly more on a smaller side. They are saying while the capabilities are great in theory, two issues I'll flag. They are saying a great integration with your CDP to leverage it for scalable segmented automation. This is for Braze, and sometimes these reviews are going to be mixed. So I think they are talking about Braze itself. They are not talking about Bloomreach. So then we have some of the other comments here. They are saying we had an issue whereby Braze was double sending comms in email and pushed to a small percentage of customers for many months. This resulted in a very high unsubscribe rate for the users who received duplicate communication several times, effectively caused several thousand customers to churn. And this could be a real issue with the marketing automation platform. So you need to choose, and that's why I'm not a big proponent of choosing the marketing automation as part of the suite, because if that is not good enough or adopted enough, you could have real challenges and you could lose domain reputation, and that could be huge for a e-com brand because that's their bread and butter. This issue was with Braze, but I would think that this is probably the implementation issue. This is not necessarily the platform issue. And then they are saying for reason 2, it's worth considering, HubSpot and Klaviyo. So again, if you read the reviews, Blaze and Bloomreach, they are compared together in general, which is very interesting. I just don't find them similar for whatever reason. People like to bucket them under the same bucket. Then they are saying 5 months ago, this guy is saying Braze or Bloomreach might be a good step ahead once you grow bigger when you have marketing team. So this is the comment. I think it was for a very small customer who was not as enterprise focused, I would say. That's why this guy was saying that you are probably too small right now. I don't have anything else here. I'll keep moving unless you guys have something. This is coming from 28 days ago. So obviously this is fairly new, and this guy is fairly popular in the Braze as well as Bloomreach community. So follow him on Reddit if you are not already following him. He is fairly detailed in his commentary, which I personally like. And he's saying that he or she, I don't know, I have some, you can never tell on Reddit, some little experience with Braze, but currently working with Bloomreach intensively. So this person is, with Bloomreach. Braze is a little bit better in the mobile messaging. That would be my perception as well, because they started as mobile, and they are saying not in capabilities, but probably an easier setup. And then they are, so here's the comment related to, they are saying it's not really real time, which Bloomreach is. So the person is thinking that Bloomreach is more real time, but the real time, the aspect that both of them are trying to promote is very, very, very different. I don't think they are comparable, or it's a fair comparison between these two platforms. They are saying Bloomreach has much more vertical covered, which is interesting. I don't think that is true, because this should be only for e-com, and retail based on their product and positioning. I personally worked with banking insurance. Bloomreach, would you use? I doubt. There's probably going to be a stretch. Then the business streaming services, apart from e-commerce, that's where I guess your Braze is probably going to be far more effective. I don't have anything else. And then person has admitted that their experience is going to be skewed, as my experience with Bloomreach is much longer than with Braze. So obviously their opinion is going to be slightly biased, I would say. And then they are saying UI and learning curve. There is nothing Braze can do what Bloomreach cannot do. I think Bloomreach is better, but that's what the person is saying who has spent more time. So take it with the grain of salt, I guess. This is the whole Salesforce marketing automation, comment coming from 2 months ago. They were on Salesforce marketing automation, but moved from that because Salesforce marketing automation is considered to be slightly more legacy, I would say. So if the companies want newer platforms, then they should be looking for this. So I'll stop there. I think you guys are going to have some comments, so I'll make room for that.
Well, I found it really interesting back near the beginning of the presentation when you were mentioning about all the PEs that were backing Bloomreach. There was, I think there was 5 or 6 different substantial ones. The one I was most familiar with, Battery Ventures, they've been really strong in ERP products over the years as well. But they're over $3 billion by themselves. So that's incredible backing.
Yeah. And these guys are, their valuation is probably going to be right now, I don't know, maybe it's probably more than 3 billion. I know that they were definitely valued up to 3 billion at one point of time. I don't know what their valuation is right now.
Yeah, it sounds like, they're doing great. They've got tons of backing, and I mean, that last comment mentioned that that Braze was slightly less expensive than Bloomreach, but and of course that chart that we saw had Bloomreach smaller than Braze, which means penetration in that marketplace.
In that category, yes.
In that category, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you clarified what CMS stood for, by the way, because I thought when you first said that, I thought you meant CMMS, which is something completely different.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sam.
Of course. Shrestha, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Any other follow-ups or from either of you? No? Okay. So that's a wrap, guys. If you joined for the first time, this was part of our industry series for which we meet every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys are going to be here next week. We are going to come back with another vendor or the solution. On that note, thank you, everybody, for tuning in today.
Thank you, everyone.